Welcome to everyone. Thank you for coming. We are blessed to have Amy Barber from the Church of the Nazarene here tonight, and she's going to bring our invocation.
I do want to say thank you for having me here tonight. Prior to coming, I read something that I thought was pretty appropriate to share, so I saved it for meetings such as this. And it's just from good old Instagram. It says, you can't control everything, but you can control your attitude, your effort, and your perspective. When life feels overwhelming, focus on what you can do in this moment. Small steps, positive thoughts, and kindness will always lead you forward. I just thought that was an appropriate way to start this evening off. So if you would join me in prayer. Father God, you say in your word in the book of James that if any of us lack wisdom that we need to guide us through decisions or circumstances, we are to ask of you, and that you will give to us generously without rebuke or blame. So Lord, we just ask that you would come into our midst here tonight, that you would grant this council wisdom. Lord, we ask for discernment and judgment and sound counsel and wisdom to prevail. Lord, we just are thankful for your spirit that brings about kindness and goodness and generosity, Lord, throughout the different issues that need to be tackled and handled and decisions that need to be made. Lord, we ask for your hand of protection to remain over this precious city of ours, Lord, over the leaders that have chosen to step forward to be in that role that is often full of tension and often conflict even, Lord. We ask for your hand of protection to be upon them and upon the residents that live and are blessed to be a part of such a wonderful, wonderful community. So Lord, we just thank you for being here, for being present, and for to be allowed to welcome you into this space. So thank you, Lord. May you be given the glory in all that is discussed and handled here today, Lord. And it's in your name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Pass around, they're gonna drop some off in the city, just figured I'd bring a preview.
7 o'clock, so I'll call the meeting to order and ask you please to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated, and I'll ask Shirley to please take roll call.
Mayor Hammond,
Here.
Larry Lambert,
Here.
Mike Connell,
Here.
Bob Porter,
Here.
Mindy Galbraith, here, Michael Ghazi,
Here.
Kristen Daigle.
Here.
Looking now for approval of our agenda.
I move the agenda be adopted and printed.
Second.
We have a motion from Kamal, seconded by Larry. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. And the reading and approval of the minutes of our previous meeting, which was the 6th, March the 6th.
I move that we suspend the rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from the March 6, 2025 regular meeting.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. We have scheduled a presentation tonight from the Greater Langsburg Recyclers, and I'll let both of them introduce themselves. If you'd like to step to the podium and tell us who you are. And
I'm his sidekick.
Well-
I'm Dean Thatcher. I'm Terry Lincoln.
nice to meet you both.
I'm co-chair. Dean and I have been involved since pretty much the beginning, 36 years ago. We just wanted to come by and thank the city for the support that we received in the past, especially when we went through the process of actually building the recycling center now. And give you an update on where we are. We're also very much involved, as you know, the state legislature passed some legislation that's requiring each county to develop county-wide recycling plans. And that's taking place through a committee working in each county. So there's a committee formed working here. And the Cook Family Foundation has started a kind of parallel group that's got representations from groups like ours. This couple of the bigger cities have representation. Some of the townships are on this. In the process of trying to inform the process by which the county comes up with a plan that can work for everybody. So I can give you a little bit of an update on that because we just had a meeting this afternoon actually that I was at. But first, just a little bit about where we are with the Greater Laingsburg Recyclers. Like I said, we started 36 years ago, and we had a kind of a movable thing. Every month we would have trailers come in and we would bring stuff, or people would bring stuff, and we'd help separate it out, and it would go off someplace to be recycled. It's heavily labor intensive. It still is labor intensive. But when we came up to just before COVID, you're looking at the average age of the volunteers up until that time, and we had no shelter, so we were outside in all kinds of weather, and it was getting kind of old. So we held a community forum, and a bunch of people came out and we talked about it, and that was in January, and then COVID came in February. We suspended drives once that happened. But that put us in a position, and there was some new energy in the community to see if we could do something that gave us a permanent site that would get us out of the weather and maybe move it forward. People stepped up. We got a little bit of grant money from the state to help do this. We created a partnership with the city of Laingsburg and the school district. So the school district gave us the property. They didn't give us the property. They're letting us use the property to put the recycling center on it. If we ever go bankrupt, they have a building that they can use on the school. And the city played a fiduciary role in managing the funds as we went through that process. And we have a memorandum of understanding between all three entities. And we meet regularly. The Greater Laingsburg Recyclers are a 501c3 that actually manage the operations. Get the stuff in, move the stuff out. We're the ones doing programs in schools. And one of the things we could talk about is, how could we better engage with the other communities? We see everybody that comes in, we ask what city or township they're from, and we don't deny anybody. You can come from Kalamazoo if you want, though we would recommend that you do it more locally. So we get people from all over, including Powell and Perry Township and Woodhull and Scioto, and into Clinton County, all the way up to the far ends of Shiawassee County. About I think about 82% of the people that are coming from Shiawassee County, and then the other 20-some% are coming from over in Clinton County, because Laingsburg's right on the border, of course. And we take, one of the reasons we're successful, and we're financially successful, we have no paid employees, so that's one way we do it. The building is paid for. We have almost no utility costs except lights, and that's on the meter that the school's doing, but we're recycling tons of material just out of the schools alone, so that pays for itself for the schools. And so our model works really quite well. We have business opportunities, because we're only now open, we used to be open once a month, we're now open 4 times a month. We would be open more if we had more volunteers, because it is an all-volunteer operation. Last year we had about 2,000 volunteer hours to make that operation run. That's just the operational part. It's not, we don't count the hours of meetings, we don't count the hours when we're doing programs in the schools, or we have Girl Scouts coming through for understanding how the process works, that kind of stuff. We're in the position to expand what we have because we're at capacities. But since the county is going through this big planning process, what the shape of what recycling looks like in this community, in this county, and actually around the state, because every county's got to do it, is going to be different, and we don't want to invest money that maybe would not be well utilized if things change. So we've kind of put that on hold for the moment, wishing that decisions get made fast enough that we can invest. But we're stockpiling some money, which we knew we would need because we have equipment, and the equipment has to be upgraded. So those kinds of things will go on. And markets go up and down. So there's things we get absolutely nothing for. There's some things we have to pay to get rid of. And there's some things that we get a little bit of income from. But we run basically on donations. We don't require anybody to bring a donation, but people, we have a sign, if you want to make a donation, a couple bucks, $5, somebody throws that in. It seems to work pretty well. The other thing that I would say, and open up for questions, because that's probably the most valuable part for you. One of the reasons I think we're successful when we get as many people coming through our place, partly because there's not too many places in the county you can do this, and not too many places have curbside recycling. We have probably the most diverse range of materials that we collect of any of the recycling areas that we're aware of. I mean, we're probably the only ones that are taking used denim. We take dental products. We're taking household batteries, we take electronics, we take a variety of different plastics, we're taking a variety of different fibers, we've got metal. What am I forgetting?
That's about it. Tin, glass.
Yeah, tin and glass. And all those things change, and we process it. It's got to be ready to go to market. The most important part of what we do, and the way that we do it, is we have the material clean. Contamination ruins it. So we ask the people at home, when you bring your stuff, have it separated. Some do a very good job, we don't have to do anything. Some we find, they mix it up. And some things are just so confusing, we all pull our hair out. You'll notice that we're both a little short in that area. I think it's from recycling somewhere. So that's the overview at the moment. I don't know exactly where the county's going to go. I think you should have been informed. If not, I'm here to inform you that the Cook Family Foundation's process they're doing community listening sessions. And I see they have one scheduled here in City Hall on March the 31st from 5:30 to 7. So if people in the community, if you have a newsletter that goes out to the community, I'd encourage you or somehow to let them know that to come and talk and ask questions of the people that are there. The Cook Family Foundation people that are running that process are really just there to listen, to try to understand what people want, what they need, what their confusion would be. And unless you got something else, I'd just be here to answer, or we'd be here to answer any questions you might have regarding our operation of recycling. What you want.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure, fire away.
First, let me summarize what I heard you say.
Okay.
You said that you were primarily running everything by volunteers.
That's correct.
The building you're not paying for.
That's correct.
You have almost zero expense cost, correct?
Almost zero. I mean,
Almost zero.
we have insurance costs, we have
Sure.
materials costs, there's equipment repair costs, purchasing of equipment.
Who's benefiting from the money that you're collecting, or what are you doing with it? It might be an invading question,
No,
but
not at
like,
all.
I'm really curious to like.
We're banking what we're not spending, because we know, for example, let me just tell you right now, we had a operations committee meeting this morning because the grocery store in town is going out of business. It's going out of business in a week. They have to get rid of everything. They have an old baler in there. So we're looking, we could use another baler, even though we don't really have the space. If we can get a baler at a reasonable price, we're gonna try to take it, if it's working and it doesn't need too much repair. That's gonna probably cost us somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. It's gonna cost us like $3,000 just to move it and reinstall it in our place. So we have to have money to be able to handle stuff like that. If we expand the building, which we really think we need to do, that's gonna cost money. So that's where the money's going. It's gonna sit there. If we go out of business, our bylaws say that we donate the money to other local charities.
Jerry, can I interject for just
Yeah.
a minute? Have you ever been there, Kamal? Could you just tell us all what machines you have there? Because I see many machines there when I go through. What all do you have that you need to upkeep and you've purchased with the money you've collected and so forth?
So the baler is the biggest cost, and I think that came in at around, and it was used when we bought it, but
And that does the cardboard?
that crunches the cardboard, and then in off hours, when we're closed to the public, we're also baling plastic, using that same baler. We'd like to have a separate baler that's just for plastic. It would make the baling, plastic is horrible, we just hate it, we wish it would go away. So do most of the people I know who bring the stuff there, because it's so confusing about where does this one go and why not that one? But, so we have that. We have we call it the Big Joe, I think that's the brand name. It's an electric powered, we can lift the bales onto a truck. It operates only on very flat concrete. If you go off a little bit, it goes crazy, it's not great. But we didn't want anything that's burning fossil fuels inside a closed building for health reasons. We also have some independent floor jacks, one that actually weighs the stuff, so we can get a weight on it before it actually goes out the door. We have another one that just kind of moves things around. We've installed cameras because we've had some stuff dropped that shouldn't have been dropped outside the building, and we want to be able to figure out that. That's most of the equipment.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then, for those of you who haven't been here, it's a drive-through drop-offs. People don't even have to get out of their cars. This is particularly valuable for people not in good health, but who manage to get the material in their car. They can come in, they're under shelter. It's better for us, having been outside in the winter and the sleet and the rain and the snow, it's much better to be in this environment to unpack the stuff and being able to sort it out into the various things that we have. So we invite you to come by sometime. We're open Saturday 9 to 1, I think, this week, right?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see how it operates. But again, the support has been from the beginning, community support by the people who use it. Local governments have given money at the front end when we were trying to build the building, and we had to go and match some of that, and we raised, I think, for the whole building, the process and stuff cost us in the neighborhood of $120,000. $50,000 of that came from a state grant. We got some grant money from the Cook Foundation, and the rest of it was raised from friends and family.
What is your address and where are you located again?
Our address is 7500 Woodbury, South Woodbury, I think. It's, if you know where the new Dollar General store is,
Yes.
we're the next building south of that. A long drive back to the school's maintenance garage where it
Yeah.
says recycling center.
I'll stop by.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, and it's free to recycle stuff?
We don't charge. The one thing we have to charge for are TVs and monitors, because we have a charge on those, so we expect people to, but
Yeah.
most people who are bringing in their stuff, they want to see that it gets taken care of. So we just pass that cost on. Everything else, we don't charge for. We do accept donations, of course, because that's an income flow that we need. I said we had 22 businesses, I think there's 25 now, that have bought a membership. It's not a membership, we call it a subscription. For $150 a year, you have 24/7 access to bring your stuff into the building. So you don't have to wait till when we're open. But for the general public, we're only there when we're staffed because we want to make sure this stuff doesn't get put in the wrong bins and people putting stuff in there that doesn't belong anywhere.
There is a website for the Greater Langsburg Recyclers. You can just Google that and look at their website. They have very easy to read and decipher what they take and what they don't, and how it needs to be divided and clean, and
Right.
the hours that they're open.
And,
And always so quick, you're in
Yes.
and out.
Well, not Tuesday. Tuesday was, they were out to the road and it took us a while.
Oh,
But
wow.
people are pretty patient, Any questions whatsoever? We're, again, really glad for the support that we've gotten from Perry and other places. And a number of folks from Perry come every day, or not every, they come to drives, every drive we have.
One thing always surprises us is people say because we have the name Greater Langsburg Recyclers, a lot of people think it's just a community and you can't come from out, but we accept anybody who wants to come.
Great. Any other questions, council, for them? Thank you so much for
Thanks a
coming.
lot.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
And whenever the plan comes out, the law requires that depending upon the size of the community, you have to provide curbside. Langsburg and Perry aren't going to, that's not that you couldn't, but you're not required to. But there will be required to be some drop-off places that are staffed, I think it's going to be at least 24 hours a month. And so the county's going to have to decide how that's going to be. Maybe Perry wants to have one of those. And there will be dollars that follow those decisions once the plan gets approved.
Sure.
So as government officials for this area, I mean, we're glad to work with people. We're glad to help you set up something or use our place. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, we did have curbside recycling millage on the ballot this last election, and it did not pass.
That happens.
Yeah.
Got it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I don't think we have any other pre-approved reports, but I see Commissioner Shepard here. Matt, did you have a presentation for us tonight?
Just brief.
Okay, thank you for coming.
So we made some approvals of equipment, 10 tasers for the sheriff's department. last month we approved, I think it was 7 tasers for the jailers. This month was about 50,000 for those 10, which includes the little harpoons or whatever they call them, and training for use of the tasers themselves. We also approved email security system through RESD. That was about 54,000 and change. Paid bills, another $5+ million for the county. As far as, I was hoping they would stay. There is consideration with a countywide recycling program. As you know, we had our recycling program over on Britton Road, just before you get into Morris there, but people were abusing that system and throwing the trash in and hazardous waste and whatnot. We do have, if you look at the county health department website, I believe it talks about different dates this year that they're going to have different places throughout the county for bringing your hazardous waste, tires, paint, whatever. And as far as that goes for a countywide, you know, the Cook Foundation is working towards it. I have the same questions. How much are they going to make off the recycling of material? If you look at videos nationwide and continent-wise, a lot of recyclable materials are just going right to the landfill, even though we take them in there or have citizens pay for it through millage or whatever. Myself, I've been taking my recyclables either to Williamston at Waste Management. They have a couple different containers. One's for plastic, glass, and metal, and then the other is nothing but cardboard, where I found it even better situation to take it to Granger, which is right off of Eastwood Center. And they have multiple containers that you can deposit colored glass in one, tin, aluminum, milk jugs in another, plastics, and multiple containers for cardboard and recyclable wood. I don't know if they do it with recyclable wood, probably just chop it up for mulch or something, I don't know. Other than that, we have another GLS meeting next Tuesday for the I-69 corridor. We were supposed to have a meeting tonight for planning Perry Township. That fell through with quorum. But anyway, so I figured I'd come over and see what y'all had to say today. But stay tuned on that. Myself, I don't know if it's right that a private organization should get a lot of money for taking care of something that they want to do by mandates.
I don't understand what you mean.
If an organization is going to set up a recycling center countywide, they're going to receive that money through tax dollars in one form or another. I don't know what the fee will be per household. Could be 100, 150, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's yet to be seen, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion, but nothing in place. And the state has promised each county money, but nothing's been put in stone yet.
And I think there are a few places, you mentioned some, and of course Greater Lansing, they basically collect the same things at those places. Some of them the person has to sort them into the proper bins. At Langsburg, you sort it at home, then when you drive through, they take it out, they put it in the proper places, and then you're on your way. So there's different ways that can happen. They are a 501(c)(3). Most of what they have done has been through, like he said, gifts from friends and family, you know, community, and some grant money. And I'm sure the other places, many of those are businesses. The ones you mentioned are businesses. But We'll just have to see how that shakes out.
I mean, there's big money in recyclable materials, so they don't have to produce it again. They can just shred it up in the machines and then reform it to other plastics. Now, all your black utensils at home for cooking, that's recyclable plastic. They suggest not to use it, but.
Well, does anybody have any questions for Commissioner Shepherd? No? We thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll move on then to public comment. And I see a couple of people here. We'll have ladies first. Hazel, would you like to come and speak to us on behalf of FFA?
Yeah, so my name is Hazel Stone. I am the 2024-2025 chapter president for Perry FFA of the school. I'm here for a quick chapter update and then just to invite you guys, anybody who's here, to a couple events that are coming up in the next 2 weeks. So I know we used to do chapter updates regularly. So for any of you who don't know what FFA is already, it's a student organization that is partially in class and then partially after school as an FFA program where we are hoping to prepare students for premier leadership and eventually sometimes careers in an agriculture or natural resources field. So we do that through leadership events, skills contests, and a big number of conventions and gatherings and stuff like that. So recently, Perry FFA, we were at state convention. So that's gathering for all the FFA chapters in Michigan. And we had a lot of people get awards. We are sending 2 people on a scholarship to WLC, which is Washington Leadership Conference. So they'll go for a week to Washington, D.C. They got their scholarship, so they don't have to pay anything at all, and are able to learn a whole lot about Living to Serve projects and stuff like that. They can bring home to the Perry community and hopefully make a positive difference in the same things that you guys are trying to work for as well. So we had that, and then we had some state degree academic excellence recipients. So just people getting recognized for the work they've put in over the past however many years they've been in FFA. We had one team compete at the state level for a leadership contest. So I was on that team. I had one partner. We demonstrated the process for tanning a deer hide, which it was interesting. It was a lot of fun for us, and we made it through the district and regional levels of contest, and eventually made it to 3rd in the state for demonstration. So a little snippet of what our chapter's been up to, and then if you guys have any questions about anything that we do, I'd love to hear them. This Saturday, we're holding our toy show. I'm sure you guys have seen signs. It's basically a fundraiser for us where we allow, we set up the 2 gyms in the high school, and we have craft and agricultural toy show vendors. And anyone is welcome to come to that. It's kind of an opportunity for people to come learn about FFA, but also get the opportunity to walk through and purchase stuff at our toy and craft show. And I think, yeah, it's a lot of fun. The kids get to work it and sell concessions and stuff like that. The main thing, I have a letter for you guys as well, and we want to invite you guys, anybody in the audience, to come to our annual work auction, which is kind of a blend between fundraiser and community service for us. We allow students to sign up to donate 8 hours of their time to anyone in our community, and then allow that to kind of take place in an auction format. So we're kind of auctioning off their hours of service. It's 8 hours of time, and that allows anyone in our community to get help for people doing yard work, like babysitting, maybe cleaning a house. It's been really useful for some people that have like a grandparent or something that just needs help like tidying up her house one day or cleaning out a sewing room. And they get to come work for 8 hours over the course of a day or 2 just to help people in our community and help with whatever tasks that they might need done. I know that I've stacked hay before. That was for a family member, for my grandpa. But yeah, so I have a letter about that. If you guys have any questions, it allows us to do some good in our community and also make sure that we have a little bit of funding to continue sending people to our conventions and supporting them as leaders and as future agriculture innovators.
Well, that was a lot of information. Does
Yeah,
anybody have a question for Hazel?
Hopefully I wasn't talking too fast.
No, you're good.
You did a good job.
Yes, you
Very
did.
good job.
Very impressive.
Thanks.
Where's the calendar of events at? Is
Is
it
it
online
online?
somewhere?
I think, Megan, do you know?
Yes, it's, Perry has FFA has a Facebook page.
Yeah,
And there's a link there to the FFA's website. I think it's like perryaet.com or something like that, but there's a link on Facebook.
I didn't even know we had that, but yeah, we have a Facebook page. I'm being entirely honest. We have a Facebook page and usually stuff is posted about that. And then I'm sure if we can do these chapter updates, I can get one printed for you guys.
Do you have to attend the auction to bid on
Yeah.
people to come? Okay, so you have to be there. Okay.
Unfortunately, it is just a in-person one. It is, I should have probably said it when it was. It's a little silly of me. It's March 27th, so that's next
Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe.
Thursday.
Thursday, at 6 p.m.
Craft shows this, toy and craft shows this Saturday from 8:30 till 2, I believe.
This is true. Yes, so, yeah, and then at 6 p.m. we have a chili dinner after the work auction too. Yeah. So, any other questions?
I think we're good. Thank you, Hazel.
Thank you.
Yes.
You can hand them each. Yeah. I'll go away.
Thank you for coming, Hazel. That's really nice of you.
Good job.
I'm glad I was able to.
Very nice. We have other people here for public comment. John and Roy Liskey, if you'd like to step forward. We're glad to see you back again.
Thank you. Last time we were here, we told you we were turning in our construction plans to the building inspector, and he reviewed those and approved our building permit, so we've made a lot of progress with that. Yesterday, we got our first, I guess it's called a rough-in inspection from the building inspector and the electrical inspector, so we're making progress. And I wanted to show you kind of our renderings of what we think it'll look like. This is, for those who don't know, I'm like the landlord, and my son's the tenant, and I'm responsible for trying to rent the entire building. So my first goal is to try and rent this other 6,000 square feet. We've talked to some people, we tried the urgent care with the hospital and all that. They weren't interested, but if it's a huge store, you all know from having been in there. Our facility here is 3,000 square feet. And I mean, there's enough room there for a restaurant, or I don't know. We have not really put it out into the public yet because it's not really presentable. It's a construction site, and so once we get it cleaned up and we can show people around. If this concept doesn't work, then we're thinking of making 3 stores.
Okay.
And it seems to me in the retail market, smaller is better. These days, there's so many big stores going out of business and so forth. So, so that's what I wanted to share with you. I really like this idea. The more activity retail activity we can have as our neighbors will help us. So, so that's our update. We plan on coming here like every month to let you know how we're doing. I'm thinking June 1 for an opening. I think, but things can delay and pretty much out of our control. So, but I think I may have mentioned Mallory Builders are our contractors.
Okay.
And they're doing a great job. The young crew they have there they call it their A-team. It's all Perry high school grads and great group of guys.
Wonderful.
So any questions?
Seeing lots of activity in terms of vehicles around there now as they go by, so that's great.
Yeah. Oh, they're moving as fast as they can because they've got much bigger projects on their schedule starting in April. All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
for coming. Is there anyone else here for public comment? Moving on then to communications. Shirley, do you have anything?
The only thing I have is the updated council rules of procedure that we amended last meeting. I just gave you guys an updated copy.
Okay,
Clean copy.
very good.
That's it.
Moving on then to mayor report. So,
Sorry, I have one more thing.
okay.
Update on the pavilion. I wasn't supposed to be here tonight, so I
Yeah, I was shocked.
So, electrical was there today, they're working on that, and the plumbers were there yesterday, maybe, today I think for sure, so we're moving ahead. And they're just waiting on some little extra trim pieces for the columns, and then Megan and I are gonna work on the remaining siding or whatever you want to call it around the bottom. So I'm gonna do some phone calls tomorrow for that. So
Okay,
yeah, it's coming along. It's almost complete.
very good. Do you have like an
I'm
estimated
shooting
time
for
of
May
up?
1st.
Okay, wonderful. That would be nice to
Yeah.
have it all finished in time for people to use for events. Have you rented it, or do you have people who've reserved it for
Mhm.
that time? Okay,
Mhm.
very good. It's always been a popular spot.
Mhm. That's
Well,
it.
did you have anything
No,
else?
that's it. Sorry.
I did, that's okay, I'm glad to hear that. Just wanted to let you all know that the sale of the property strip north of the McQueen House there that you approved at the last meeting, that purchase agreement has been completed, approved by our attorney and signed by myself and the buyers. It went to the title company today, and we may be able to close as soon as next Wednesday, but if we can't close by then, we'll wait because the buyers will be out of town for a week or so. So, but it is moving right along. It's an obligation. They've paid their earnest money, and so that's in place. I am going to also talk with Consumers Energy. I've sent them an email to ask them to update our estimate of the lighting, the light poles along Lansing Road. We got estimates back in 2021, but we had no money. So we still don't really have money, but I'd like to get an updated estimate so that if we see a grant project available, we have the information ready to submit it. So I have asked for that. It would be 7 light poles on either side of M52. They would go along Lansing Road just like the township's light poles do. They kind of zigzag, so they would do that. At least that's how the old drawing was, so it would be that. And I think, other than thank you, Mike, for filling in for me when I was gone, and I really appreciate all your support during that time. Moving on then to committee reports. Do we have any committees who would like to bring a report?
I don't know what we're calling it, DPW yard improvement or whatever fancy word you want to put on it. Kevin, I, and Tim DeLue did meet last Thursday
Okay.
and walked around, and we have some ideas. And I'm pursuing some things, Tim's looking into some stuff, so then we'll get back to Kevin and have another meeting just to kind of, it's gonna take a while. Won't happen overnight, like I said at that meeting, so.
Well, it didn't get in that condition overnight, so it's probably
No.
going to take a while.
So, we all have some good ideas, and we're gonna see what direction we can do. I have some phone calls and follow-ups to do, so I'm working on that.
Great.
From, and this is in the committee, but Shiawassee, Sessa, I have a report here that they're gonna drop off some annual reports. It's really nice, the chief did a good job. Just gives you an idea what they're up to and what we've done and things like that. Good things are happening, so it is going all in the right direction. And I'll probably get Tim here, our chairman of the board, in a couple weeks to give us a yearly update. Oh, and we did approve or vote on the rate for next year, starting January. It's gonna raise by $10. So they'll send an official letter to all the municipalities, so.
Great. Thank you for that. Anybody else?
Just a note, the ordinance committee hasn't met in a while, and I'm gonna try to get a meeting scheduled for probably the second week in April. Try to meet with the committee here after this meeting and see if we can nail down a date, and so I'll know that by our next meeting for sure.
Okay, great, thank you. Moving on then to presentation and approval of the bills.
I move that we, excuse me, I move that we approve the bills as presented and payment be authorized.
Second.
We have a motion from Bob, seconded by Mike. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Under old business, we do have the topic that was discussed a little bit, I guess, when I was gone a couple weeks ago, but then moved forward to tonight so that everybody could have input on the Ross DeLu Put Your Best Face Forward and the Perry Pride Awards discussion to be held, whether to continue this or if it's past its prime. Open for discussion.
I wasn't here for the last meeting's discussion, but from my perspective, it's probably served its purpose, I think, for the number of years that it's been in place. We've awarded the Put Your Best Face Forward to a number of the businesses in the community, and likewise with some of the residents, we tend to be looking at about the same homes in the various sections as we've had it, and I would suggest that we consider dispensing with it and possibly in the future see if we come up with some other initiative that will recognize businesses and residents in the community, something different than what we've been historically doing.
I suggest that we wait so we have everybody here, so we can put any
Yeah,
input or not input.
Little to no discussion last
Correct.
meeting. It was kind of, let's let everyone.
I thought it was unfair that we didn't have everybody here.
Right? Like, I
Right or
appreciate
wrong
that.
or indifferent, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And this is from ignorance because I can't remember. Did we ever give them, or do we give the winners an award or something, like a gift card or something? Didn't we do that for a while?
They
or-
used to receive gift cards from Darlene's.
Okay, and then that stopped when they switched, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
now it's just.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we did something and I couldn't remember. A plaque.
Yeah,
Yeah, all right.
photo or.
I was just gonna suggest if we did continue to do that, but with Perry, it didn't ever cost the city anything, so it's a moot point.
Yeah.
As long as they
Just
put it
the
into
cost of
something
the
else.
certificate and the frame, that's, and that wasn't expensive at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's run its course. And you don't want the same repeat winners. I think it's either come up with something new or find a way to space it out so it's every 5 years or something like that. But, you know, in 5 years, if we want to revisit it, we can then. But I think for now, I'm okay with letting it go.
See, I wasn't here when that happened, but
It has, I've been in council 4 years, and it's been very difficult to pick somebody you didn't pick last year
yeah.
to give the award to.
Oh, I bet.
So,
And even so, we only have so many businesses with it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's not like we have
try to spread it out.
we're like a huge city.
I'm okay, I agree with the consensus, I think, is just get rid of it, but I think we should try to address or look into maybe doing something different, maybe in conjunction with the parks night out or something. I don't know, maybe we have a contest that would kind of ties into that or something, I don't know, just throwing out an idea.
Write all the businesses' name on like a roulette, and like spin the roulette in it, like every month, see who wins.
It's an idea.
It is an idea. The thought behind it, when it started years back, was to encourage people to spruce up the outside of their buildings, to plant flowers, mow the grass, paint the front, you know, all of that stuff. And I think it really did. For the first few years, it really did encourage people to do that. But I think I'm hearing you all say that it seems like now we're trying not to award it to the same people all the time because everybody has had an award who deserves an award.
Yeah, it's certainly served its purpose at its inception. I just think that it's run its course, I think, at this point in time. But I would also agree with Bob's comment and others that, I don't know what it is right now, but is there something else we could do innovatively that could still drive some continued improvement in the community?
Some of that community involvement, community spirit, something, you know, something, I don't know what it is, what that something would be or could be, but just food for thought, something we can do.
Yeah, and maybe we could come up with a community spirit award and award it yearly at the summer parks event. That's always well attended. So whoever is awarded that would get their award, whatever that might be. So I would encourage us, assuming that we're going to set these two awards aside, to think through that process of how this could be something new and different, stimulate maybe interaction and community spirit, which would be wonderful. So is there more discussion on this? If not, I'd look for a motion.
Move that we discontinue the Ross DeLu Put Your Best Face Forward Perry Pride Award.
Second.
We have a motion from Mike, seconded by Larry. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Shirley, would you make sure that we have this posted, and Megan, would you post it on the website? And just make sure that it's taken out of wherever it needs to be taken out of. Thank you. We do have a volunteer who stepped forward to serve as a regular member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. She used to serve as an alternate, but I contacted our two alternates. One said he would if she wouldn't. She said she would, so he was happy. So, Melissa Whitson is now appointed by me with your approval to be a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term to expire July 2027. Looking for a motion for approval from the council.
I move that we approve mayor's appointment of Melissa Whitson to the Zoning Board of Appeals with the term expiring July 2027.
Second.
We have a motion from Bob, seconded by Kamal. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
I have one thing that's related to that, I'll ask
Yeah.
Megan. We have to meet to do our organizational thing, correct?
Did you get my email?
I haven't looked at emails in a few days, so no, I guess
I
not.
sent you an email on Monday or Tuesday.
Okay,
Mostly I'm waiting on you to pick a date for us.
okay.
Because you'll have the most complicated schedule.
Jeez, it's always on me. I'll look at it tomorrow.
We can talk after.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on then, this falls under Megan's presentation for approval of our audit firm. She has information for you about that.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about my most favorite activity of the year. I live a wild life. So as you know, we went out for bid for audit services. We've been with Clark, I believe, at least 6 years. Prior to that, their firm had a different name. They were the auditor of record when I started here back in August of 2021. And we had just renewed with them at that time. I've been extremely happy with the support they provide me. They're super easy to work with. They make me feel like I'm like a moron when I have to ask a question, you know. So that said, I've been super grateful for all of their assistance. We did have to go out to bid, not only because of the contract expiring, but because they did propose a pretty hefty increase. This year, our audit costs were $13,500. A total of $15,000 this year because there was an add-on of $1,500 for entries related to the tornado that were outside the normal scope. So keep in mind, we paid $15,000 for audit services this year. We did receive 5 bids. You should have a copy of a bid result sheet in front of you. The 5 bids were Clark, Gabbridge & Co., AHP, Manor Custarian, and I think you say it Yao and Yao, Y-E-O and Y-E-O. We asked for 1, 2, and 3-year bid prices. I have in front of you their 3-year prices. It was a significant discount to commit to 3 years versus 1 year at a time. You'll notice that Clark, AHP, and Manor, their prices were almost identical. AHP and Manor, though, did have some add-on fees if things were outside the normal scope, so that immediately put them over what we'd be paying if we stayed with Clark. The 5th option was significantly higher than the rest, so.
What do they do? Cycling gold?
Maybe.
It all went up. Cecil just put it out to bid too, and they picked Clark, just FYI, but,
The township uses Clark.
and the township uses Clark, it's everybody.
So I know council's concern with Clark the last couple of years is their time frame kind of fell apart. We were always down to the 19th hour waiting on final audit entries, and that they file our annual reports with the state of Michigan. You have till December 31st to do that, even though our year end is June 30th. This year, I believe they were filed on December 31st. That does kind of hinder me a little bit. It makes me delinquent in filing reports. No fees related, it's just report that I also need to file by December 31st. I was filing on January 3rd. So in their bid, there is a $2,000 reduction if their timeline is not met. Their timeline is on page 8. So I only gave you copies of the 2 that I'm considering, which is Clark and Gabbridge & Company. They are the low bid, and obviously Clark is who we are with now. So page 8 gives you the timeline and cost breakdown for Clark, and page 5 does the same for Gabbridge & Co.
They only got the full packet in their email, remember?
Right, so,
Okay, page 8
so
is
page
the.
8 and page 5.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, all right, okay.
So I do have a couple questions.
Absolutely.
You can see it on
That
the-
reduction that Clark has, is that on every year, or is it just on the year that they are not meeting that timeline?
I would say it's the year they don't make the timeline. So if in 2025, 26, they meet their timeline, no reduction. If next year they don't meet their timeline, reduction.
It'd be sweeter if they can match it to all 3 years, because that's breaking the contract itself.
Okay, that's something we can address with them. It's not, I assumed it would be for the year in which we're working, only. Not
I
that it
would assume that
I
as
would
well.
assume
The
the same
contract's
thing.
3 years, but if the timeline's not met the first year, there's a $2,000 reduction, then we're starting again at the new amount, and the same thing would apply if they're not on time.
So I did call some references for Gabbridge. I heard nothing but great things about them. Not one complaint. They can actually, they have the same software we have, so I would send them a backup of my BSNA software, and then they can run their own reports if needed. Right now, the preparation for audit is I get a laundry list of requests, I complete them all, I upload them to a secure file share, and then Clark looks over them, they come in and they do usually 2 days of field work. They come here to the office. The Gabbridge proposal would be a remote audit. I would deal with them by sending them files, talking to them via email and phone, and they would come if they felt they needed to.
But if they feel they need to and they come, they charge us at least $500.
Yes, the travel was a $500 fee.
Where
The
are they
other company
located?
Grand
does not.
Rapids.
Okay.
Are there any additions to what Gaybridge has?
No, so I specifically called them and just wanted to confirm that they saw, when we put out an RFP, people can ask questions, right? So we issued an addendum answering any questions I received. Some people were asking how many adjusting entries did you have last year? Have you ever had any failures, or they asked more questions about my previous audit processes. And Clark does our depreciation schedules for us and all the depreciation entries that go with it. So I even confirmed with Gabbridge to confirm that they did see the addendum to the RFP, that they know that they would be responsible for managing those schedules. Does that impact your price at all? Because the other two had clear, if above and beyond this, it will be, $250 an hour or $250 an entry beyond X amount of entries. So those just seemed that they could climb and climb and climb. And when I heard back from, I believe his name is Joe, at Gabbridge, he said, yep, we saw it, we read it, and I even sent him a list of the entries that Clark did for me last year. They saw all of my adjusting entries. He said we saw it and it would all be included. That said, I am most comfortable staying with what we know because I'm a creature of habit. But I understand the cost savings, especially when you look out over the 3 years.
What is this fee would increase by $6,000 for any year requiring a federal single audit
If we were to
report?
get, I think it's over $750,000 in federal funds, we would be required to have a single audit.
Okay, so if we get a grant
If
for
we get a
something from the
huge
federal
grant from
government
the
more
Fed-
than 750?
I believe the limit's $750 at Mason.
Bought it.
Are you okay?
I'm gonna put this in the budget. So, in our experience, we've never needed a single audit.
Okay.
I would bet that Clark would also have a similar
Some
fee for,
fee for
because
that.
it's a huge above and beyond your standard audit process if you need to do a single audit on something like that.
So what software do you use that these people use?
BSNA, so they somehow have, they have the software.
They
I
probably
give
buy
them
it.
a back, they probably buy it, they probably
They
subscribe
buy
to it, just like we do, we pay annual fees to use BSNA.
Right,
They said I give them a backup of my files, they can pull it in, and it's kind of like a work version, they can't change our data, they can't do anything like
they
that.
can't
but
go in there and take our money.
No,
A little
there's
bit
no
we
money
may
in
have.
there.
So I have before backed up a copy and sent to BSNA when there was like some, you know what I mean, like in a hospital or
Right.
whatever I was working at, and I remember doing that. So I imagine it's kind of the same,
Right.
along the same lines. You're just seeing what's already been saved and what's already there.
Okay.
Yeah, BSNA is a bookkeeping
Software.
For
software.
municipalities.
It doesn't provide any access to our money.
So these items on the Cambridge, where notes regarding the proposed fees are as follows.
Yep.
So do the other companies also have these extra charges?
I did not see a travel expense one for anybody else, but the other ones were already significantly more expensive than their standard rate. That's the one thing that really stood out to me.
Since we've had Clark, Schaefer, and Hackett, they have always come. They have come to perform the audit. They've been here for 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah, I think my first year it was 3 days, last year it was 2, maybe 1.5, this most recent, but they bring 3 or 4 staff with them.
Yep, and they ask questions and get to know us and see what our facility and our, kind of get to know our people. I think it helps them be able to work with them and make recommendations maybe a little easier. This other company that's significantly less expensive doesn't come here.
Not
So
unless
they're
they
not
feel they need
sending
to, or,
3 people for 3 days.
but I would have access to those 3 or 4
Yes.
people. In the full packet, it tells you the staff that would be on our account.
Yeah, those numbers are enticing to be that much lower, but I'm also suspicious, having spent some time in a prior life and purchasing, that you've got to really question, no disrespect to them, but what isn't included in here, like the on-site visit expenses, et cetera, that
And I'm
It just aren't here.
comfortable, I would be comfortable with a remote audit. That part doesn't concern me at all. There's nothing I give them when they're physically here that I couldn't provide via email. Usually it's just them sitting in the back room working with each other.
And coming to us, any one of us, either one of us randomly asking for
Asking for some
something
kind of support.
that they already have back
Right,
there.
or sometimes they already have it, yes. Understand. Or it's, show me this specific invoice, show me this week's payroll.
And they do privately come into the mayor's office for at least half hour and say, do you think anybody's stealing money from the city? They shut the door and ask all these questions. I like the fact that they're here, and maybe that's obvious in what I'm saying, but they also then are available to attend the meeting where the audit is presented.
That would happen also.
They would come?
Yes, yes. Yeah, they would
They
still
would
come and
come.
present.
The other company would come
Yes, for the actual audit presentation, they will be here.
without the $500 fee, or there's still a travel fee?
So even,
I think it's probably, I think they
I would
charge.
say they charge a
Yeah,
fee.
I think they charge.
They wouldn't have put it on there if they're just gonna
That's
come here for.
so even if they come like 10 times for the next 3 years, does that justify the cost difference between them?
I'm with you, it's
Like
it's
10
very,
times
like
will
Larry
cost
said, it's
you
very
that much.
enticing, that's a lot of
Right.
money.
That is,
is.
it's a significant,
Yeah.
I mean.
So for 1 year, if it was 1 year, I'd say $5,000 I'm staying. And that's still my gut instinct is to stay. But when you look over 3 years and you're talking almost 15,
It's more.
it's hard to,
What kind of out would we have in the contract? Did they give you any kind of contract language? I mean, it's. Well, I'm sorry,
I'm sure,
I was-
I don't have that detail. I know it was in here, I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Not that it would really be, it's kind of hard to, okay, sorry, we're gonna go with these people, and then they screw up and we go back, so. But that's kind of where I was getting at. And then I do have a question about this timeline, that I see you have months and stuff on here, but it doesn't really say, this is our drop dead point, this is where you gained $2,000 from us.
To me, it says,
It says they'd be done in October.
if these times are not met, it will result in a $2,000 reduction of audit fee. So I would say at any point, we think that they haven't met one of their timelines
Yeah,
on
times
them,
plural.
not me.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's on
Okay.
me, if something happens and I have to miss a couple weeks of work and that delays it, that obviously isn't a penalty to them. But
Correct, but yeah, they said their timeline not met, so if you look at this timeline draft, submit to the state within 1 week after finalization,
And
and
that
it's
point's
before,
in the month of October.
that's before the 1st of November.
Right, yeah.
So if they don't meet it by, because it's due,
The
the
end
very
of December.
latest, December 31st, right? That's drop dead date, before we get any penalties.
there
or
are no
problems.
penalties, you just get a strongly worded letter.
Probably, you get a slap on the hand from, and a letter from the state saying, hey, what's going on?
I want those letters, but.
See, and I don't like that December 31st nonsense, because I'm with you. I don't want to wait till the last minute. But my question is, you said you heard good feedback about Gabbridge. Did you hear anything about how they follow timelines and?
Yeah, no bad things were said. And I even asked specifically, how about your time frame? Do you ever feel like and they, I guess I don't know when all of their year ends are because different municipalities will have different year end dates. But I was hearing October, November from most of them.
I would assume, and you know what they say about assuming, but anyway, moving on, the big difference in the cost is the fact that they're not sending 3 people to this building for 3 days every fall. They are, so they cost more. So that's what we need to decide.
Well, I'd just
How
say
we wanna
this,
do it.
like, I'd say ever since Megan's worked for the city, she's put out very good work, very dependable, and she's got as good a feel of the budget as anybody here. And if she thinks it's important, I think we can come up with who she needs to keep giving us quality work. So that'd be my opinion.
I agree with Mike. I weigh my decision strongly on Megan's recommendation for that reason.
And even though there've been good things said by Gabriel, or about Gabriel, we don't know what we don't know. We do have a long track record with Clark. And I'm sure other sites have gone out. Bob, you mentioned that Sessa and the township obviously went out and quoted, and their decision was to go with Clark.
Townships used them for a while, I don't know how long, but I know they've used them for a while. But we didn't get 5 people that answered our RFP, or whatever it is, so we only had 2, maybe 3. We had to do, the Sessa had to change because when I went on Sessa, I got 5 years of books presented to me the first meeting I went to. They're very lax, that company who was doing it, and of course, the issues that we have at hand with Sessa that are now, not under the bridge yet, but darn close, they didn't catch, so that's why we put it out for bid. I don't know, I'm with Kamal, it's a lot of money. And I understand your point, I get it, what you're comfortable with, and,
Yeah.
but,
I would not be upset if we had to change.
Well, here is the question. If we were not here, and you had to make that decision, what would be your decision? And why?
I would stay because I made up for it in the interest revenue that I've made over the last 2 years.
What do you mean you would have made up for it in your interest
The
revenue?
increase in the cost of Clark can more than be absorbed by the increased interest revenue, especially from the Michigan class decision we just made.
making money on our little bit of money that we hold, basically, and then move around.
And then some. I'm not spending all of our investment.
Correct, no,
earnings on
you do a
this.
very good job, I mean,
Um,
I think everyone agrees with that, you do a
Am I-
very good job.
Am I correct in saying that Clark not only audits what we've spent, but they also look at how we could possibly make more money by putting this there or this there? Do they make any recommendations about that?
No, not that I.
Okay.
I think we should table that decision. Do we have to make that decision?
I need to make one pretty quick, but we can table it till April 1st, or the first meeting in April, and if you have specific questions, like I'll look at if we sign a 3-year contract, we're not happy after 1, what can we do?
It's not just my decision, but
Why would you like to
That's-
table it?
I don't know, I feel I don't know.
I get it, to be fiscally responsible, we should be going with the cheaper one, but it's scary.
But I like what you just said, I mean, we could try it for a year, you know. and
So their
see
1-year
what
rate is significantly higher.
That is true.
So we could, if we said we're gonna go just 1 year,
Cambridge did not give you, at least it's not on this sheet, but I can see, they didn't give you a 1 year.
that's true.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Maybe at that point it's 15, I don't know.
Yeah, they spread it out over 3 year, okay, we have a 3-year contract, and we're gonna spread out this fee. Do they work for, municipalities similar size?
Yeah, so they were.
Lots of people, or
So this is what one of the most interesting things I learned is, so in this packet on page something, pages 13 and 14, our clients that have in Michigan in the past 5 years, Langsberg. So I called Langsberg. They were with them. They just switched because their prices went up significantly. And all I can think of,
So
they were paying less, Langsberg switched from Gaybridge to a different firm, one that didn't bid for us because they don't have the workload availability.
okay,
But their reason for leaving was because of the price increase that they received from Gaybridge.
so I wonder if they lowballed us to get their business.
The
Because
cities.
I can see that
I called-
happening.
But they're quoting us for at least 3 years.
3 years, but they, okay, so they can
First
lowball you for
contract.
3
Then if we
years.
fall in love with them and then they
Yeah.
Right.
raise us.
So I called Flushing, I called Sheboygan, and I talked to Langsberg.
Did they raise the prices? How long have the other?
I didn't ask Langsberg what their price was, that they considered them to be a significant increase, because they were so much lower than what we were bid from our outstanding auditor.
How long have they been with the company?
They were with them at least 6 years, I believe, the
You wrote
treasurer
down 6
said.
years. You wrote down 6 years.
And
6
they-
years plus online and virtual.
And they didn't say anything about like a huge increase after 3 years? That's encouraging.
Langsberg did, but I don't know how, we can't really compare to, like, they don't have water, sewer, they don't have as many funds as we do, there's not as much workload. So city-wise, we're probably similar, more in similar size, but not as far as accounting
It's not apples for
funds.
apples, other than
Yeah.
roughly population's pretty close.
Right.
And if we do it for 5 years, would they be willing to get down clerks?
I would have to check to see if we can do 5 years. There might be like a
Because we
public
would be,
act that requires us
Yeah.
to.
All the contracts we've had with auditors have always been 3 years.
They might have
For
something to do with the
Long
turnover,
time, yeah.
turnover of council to
Right.
make sure,
Yeah,
but I don't know.
yeah, I don't know the why, but they've always been 3 years.
because we would be holding them captive at that price too. It goes both ways.
It does go both ways. I mean, the money part is really, really hard not to say, hey, we need to change. But I understand and we've had them for a long time. And they raised it quite a bit, and then we got them to do a 3-year contract, we got them down quite a bit.
And after the 3 years, they might raise it again.
But they're going to, for sure, everyone will. I mean, everything's going up, it's not gonna stay the same. That's just a given in everything.
I would like to see us make a decision on this tonight. We all know what the facts are. We all have known that since the last meeting. We all have, I mean, you've had time. I guess I'm not understanding a benefit to delaying it for 2 more weeks.
I move that we accept the bid from Clark Schaefer Hackett for the following audit years. 2025 in the amount of $20,000, 2026 in the amount of $21,500, 2027 in the amount of $23,000. We authorize the treasurer, Megan Galbraith, to move forward with the bid award and to sign the contract.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Larry, seconded by Mike. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. There you go.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, we are at the bottom of our new business. Is there any other business that may come before council at this time? Anyone else for public comment, further public comment? Agenda items for our next meeting. Dr. Lori Haven, Superintendent at Perry Public Schools, has asked to come and do a presentation at our next meeting regarding the Perry Public School Community Showcase scheduled for April 22nd, and for information about the bond proposal. So we have put her on the agenda for the next meeting. We need to discuss the assessor reps per meeting pay amount. They're paid $15, just like our other committee members had been paid for a long, long
I
time.
have a suggestion.
We increased
Actually,
others, zoning board of appeals, planning commission. We did not, though, increase the assessor reps. So we've put that on the agenda for discussion regarding raising their pay so it matches the other committees. And I'd like to just say, I know nobody does this job or any of those other ones for the pay. That's not why you do it. But having sat in this chair for a few years now, it's really difficult to call someone and say, we have an open seat on this committee, it pays $15 a meeting. And they go, what? You know, and we have that discussion. Well, I know you don't do it, you do it out of the goodness of your heart and so forth. But I know you would do it for free. But think about, if you can't fill your position anymore, can we get somebody else to do it for that? So just give that more thought. We'll talk about it next week. And Shirley and I talked a little bit about piece of land down on M52 there at the dead end of Ellsworth Road that we own and are asking $7,000 for. It doesn't have any known use available to it. It doesn't have water sewer. There is a well there, but we don't know for sure if anybody can use that. The buyer would have to have that tested to see. But it's not big enough to put private septic on in addition to that well, so it's most likely not buildable. But for $7,000, Shirley and I thought it would be a great place for a farm stand if somebody wanted to sell vegetables from it for a while. But anyway, it's not very obvious when you drive by there that it's for sale. So I'm wondering, let's think about how maybe put a bigger sign on there. We just have a small, like a small yard real estate sign.
2x3 sign is on there right now, roughly.
Yeah,
8
yeah.
by 8, somewhere.
Yeah, if we had a 5x6 or 4x6 or something like that.
Do one of those inflatable plumbs that bounce around.
That would be good. So that'll be on the agenda for discussion too, if you want to give that some thought before the next meeting. Anything else that you'd like to see on the agenda?
I think everybody generally knows historically when we've done the community yard sales,
Oh,
but we
yeah.
might want to put that on there
Yeah.
just to firm up and publish the dates.
Yeah.
I know we don't sponsor it per se, but
No.
sort of at least make people aware of who's doing what.
Okay.
We're gonna do a spring city cleanup.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that would dovetail,
Yeah.
typically, historically, it's been the week after, the week or 2 weeks
Yard
after
sale,
the
yeah.
community yard
So
sale.
we can look at those dates and start promoting that too.
Right.
Yeah.
Not for the agenda, but I'll be out of town next week,
Oh, you will?
Yep.
Okay.
unless you want to put that on the agenda.
No, we'll just make our own little notes. Anything else? And it's 8:12, the meeting's adjourned.